Hello, I'm Luke, and welcome to another episode of the Vision to Victory podcast, where we discuss practical ways to turn your dreams into reality. Last week, we discussed the topic, be about something. We talked about making our lives about something meaningful. And this week, in a similar vein, I want to talk about progress, pursuit, and the mess. I find the more life that I go through and the more people I connect with, the more I realize that we're all searching for more out of life. It's almost ubiquitous. Nearly everybody I meet, I think would say this, if they're honest with themselves, would say that in some area of their life, they would like more out of it. Now, there are many directions I could go in how we can get the most out of life, but for the purpose of this episode, I want to be practical, concise, and action-oriented. So again, progress, pursuit, and the mess. I'm going to do it in reverse order, though. And at first, I just want to talk about embracing the mess of life. It's so important that we embrace the mess of life. I talk about this a lot, but life is messy. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's coming. Life is messy. And no matter how hard we try to sanitize things or dress them up or do everything we can to avoid struggle or avoid pain, it's coming no matter what. Life is just messy. And, it's a bit cliche, but you'll never find the perfect time to do anything. You'll never find the perfect scenario to, pursue something new or to make the change that you've been wanting to make or whatever it is. And similarly, you will most likely never be 100% certain about any decision you make. So if there's something in your life that you want to change, there's better on the other side of it, or maybe there's something you want to pursue, don't wait. Truly, if you're looking at your life and you're thinking, there's too much going on right now, or life's too messy, or whatever it is, like I'm in a difficult season, that's going to be the rest of your life. Now, to be clear, we go through different seasons, and some seasons are more difficult than others, of course. But we will never avoid the mess. And so if there's something that you want to pursue, the time is now. The time is now. With that, not only do we want to embrace the mess of life, but we do want to pursue something inspiring. This is number 2. Pursue something inspiring. If you want more out of your life, pursue more. That might sound obvious, but so many people are not chasing something that inspires them. I recently got coffee with a good friend of mine who was just recently laid off. And I've been laid off twice myself in my own career. And, generally speaking, it's an unpleasant experience, and it can make you question your things and doubt yourself. But I was very impressed by my friend's outlook. He was very genuine when he, said to me that he was evaluating not only his career, he's been doing the same thing for a long time, but it's just his life in general. And he told me this, and I thought this was profound, that he came to the realization that for nearly his entire adult life, he has just been in survival mode, going through the motions of life, trying to make ends meet, but not really doing anything to get ahead, so to speak, to get out of survival mode and to maybe thrive in life. And he told me he was taking this opportunity. Side note, not everybody sees things like getting laid off as an opportunity. What a great perspective, because every obstacle is an opportunity if you have the eyes to see. But he said he was taking this opportunity to be more intentional with directing his life instead of just taking what he was given or taking the status quo or going through the motions. He wanted to be more intentional with directing his life. And I love this. I loved his perspective on this. So I would say to you, Where do you want to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? And is your life headed that way? Or do you need to be more intentional about directing your own life? Because if you just leave it up to chance, likely not much is going to change. Whatever it is, would you like to make more money? Would you like to have more time with your family? You're tired of living paycheck to paycheck and you want some freedom in your life. Whatever it is, maybe you've got a hobby you've wanted to take up or a skill you've wanted to learn. Whatever it is, choose a goal that inspires you. And by the way, if it doesn't stretch you, you're not thinking big enough, and set that as a destination that you want to head towards. Don't wait. Today, tomorrow, this weekend, whatever it is, take time. Think of what it is. Think of that something inspiring that you'd like to pursue, and make a plan. Make a plan. The third thing we need to do, so we got embrace the mess. You're never going to find the right time, the right scenario, whatever. Embrace the mess. Pursue something inspiring. Find something that inspires you, a goal, a dream, and pursue it. And here's the big one. This is the difference maker. Do whatever it takes. Be relentless. I've talked about this a lot, and it's just... it bears itself to be true over and over and over again. The difference between successful people and those who aren't is simply that the successful people are just willing to do whatever it takes. So many people have something that they want or that they would, wish for, but then there's a list of things that they're not willing to do to get it. Do whatever it takes. Be relentless. What do you really have to lose? I've heard this said different ways, different times, that the biggest risk in life is not taking any. I could not agree more with that statement. The biggest risk in life is not taking any. If you don't ever get out of your comfort zone and take some risks, your life will be very boring. That same friend I got coffee with repeated a quote that he had heard recently that really hit home with him. And it was, don't live the same year over again 75 times and call it a life. And he was really honest that he feels like that's what he's been doing for several years. Just kind of like over and over again, the same thing, doing the same stuff and getting the same results. And again, here's the thing. If we aren't intentional about directing our life, that is exactly what we will do. We will live the same year over and over and over again, just getting older. Kids get older. Everybody gets older, but it's the same thing over and over again. And as people, most of us gravitate towards the status quo. It's so important to recognize this because then you can do something about it. We gravitate towards just going through the motions. We gravitate towards easy. We gravitate towards, comfort. It's a choice that we have to make daily, sometimes multiple times a day, to say no to mediocrity and yes to getting out of our comfort zone, which is where life really happens. Again, most people have things that they want in life, but are just unwilling to do what it takes to get there. I am not special. The things that I have in my life that are good and that I have worked for are not because they were handed to me, because they weren't. They're not because, I have some special skills, because I'm not special. I just arrived at a place in life, and it took me a while to get there, but I just arrived at a place in life where I just became willing to do the work, no matter what it was. I didn't go to college out of high school. I went back in my 30s, and I didn't want to, but I wanted what was on the other side of that. And that's a whole nother conversation, but that's just one example where I just decided to put a stake in the ground and say, I'm not willing to go through life without having the life that I want. I'm not willing to, sacrifice, my dreams and goals for the sake of comfort in mediocrity. When it became clear to me that doing nothing was making the choice for mediocrity and making the choice for the status quo, it just lit a fire in me. And I just decided that's not what I want. And I think that's what we all need to do over and over again in our lives. It's not a one-time thing. And it's a daily choice to say no to just going through the motions and yes to pursuing something better. So embrace the mess. Life is messy. It's always going to be messy. There's a great line from a Corey Asbury song that says, "I used to call it complicated. Now I call it life." I love it. That is so true. There are things that maybe I used to have an opinion about that, I thought, oh, that's complicated or that's messy. And it's just life. Complexity and messiness of life, don't let it keep you from pursuing better and worthwhile goals. Embrace the mess. Number 2, pursue something that inspires you. If you feel uninspired, think big, dream big. What is something that you could get excited about? And then just take a step. Find a way to keep putting one foot in front of the other and pursue it until you realize that dream in your own life. Number 3, again, I think this is the difference maker, is be relentless. You only really fail if you quit. This was helpful for me when I really internalized this idea that if I want to pursue something, all I have to do is just keep going till I get there. If I fail 100 times along the way, but I still get there, then I still get there. One of the more fun things that I've done in my life is learn how to fly airplanes. And, there's quite a bit of knowledge that you have to acquire to do that. There's, some testing, of course. And, I remember when I was studying for my first big, kind of test to become a pilot, and it was stressful. And, I had those thoughts of like, what if I fail? But the truth is, if I'd have failed, I'd have just kept going until I passed it, until I got it. And so I was never really going to fail because I was just simply not going to quit. And so I just encourage you to figure out what inspires you. Find a goal, find a dream, find something that you want to pursue, and then be relentless. Don't quit. I love this quote that says, "Be relentless in your pursuit of greatness. Complacency is the enemy of progress. Keep evolving, keep pushing boundaries, and you'll redefine what's possible." I hope today you choose to redefine what's possible for you and your own life. If this was helpful for you, share with somebody. I'll talk to you next week.